Well, let's talk about the weather now. The heat wave in Europe is showing no signs of abating. As per reports, 130 million people across the continent saw temperatures hovering over 35 degrees Celsius on Monday. The World Health Organization has now revealed that at least 162 people on an average have died in Europe in just the last 8 days due to this heat wave. Take a look at this report for more.
As Europe continues to sizzle under a searing heat wave, WHO underscored its human toll. It recorded over 1,300 excess deaths since June 21st linked to high temperatures in Europe. That's a staggering 162 deaths per day. It also warned that Europe is the fastest warming continent on Earth, heating at twice the global average. In wake of this, it urged EU nations to implement action plans as part of a broader agenda to protect health against climate change. France alone reported roughly 1,000 excess deaths between June 24th and June 27th. While 85% of the deceased were aged 65 or older, a particularly sharp increase in deaths at home was observed. As hundreds of people seek relief from scorching temperatures by jumping into rivers and lakes, drowning deaths have gone up massively, especially among children. For instance, France's Interior Minister revealed that at least 74 people have drowned since June 18th. Last summer, the country recorded over 1,418 drowning incidents, which was a 14% rise from 2024. Deaths among teenagers aged 13 to 17 more than doubled. UK also reported 7 such deaths amid the current heat wave. According to the Royal Life Saving Society, child drowning deaths in London alone have surged by 80% since 2023. Amid this, Poland recorded its highest ever temperature on Sunday, surpassing a national record that stood for over a century, with temperatures reaching 40.5 degrees Celsius. Similarly, Germany set a new national heat record for the third day in a row on Sunday, with a weather station logging 41.7 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, fans queuing for a Bruno Mars concert in Berlin were in for a pleasant surprise as police used water cannons to cool them down.
For some of us, it was the first time.
For some of us, it was the first time visiting Berlin, and it was unexpected for us that the weather could be in Berlin so hot. And we are really lucky. We really like to stay in this area in such weather because it's a really big surprise.
Ukraine's capital city Kyiv also sweltered at 34 degrees Celsius, but locals asserted that the rest of Europe is having it worse.
In comparison to Europe, we don't have it as bad. They have a real dome of heat there, while we have it a bit easier after all.
Meanwhile, Italy's largest river, Po, is starting to run dry in the heat wave. This has raised fears of a devastating drought in July. This can impact a region that produces milk for Italy's well-known Parmesan cheese. Bureau Report, World is One.
Yet another deal that America has made seems to be benefiting President Trump personally. This time, it's the agreement between United States and Kazakhstan to develop a massive tungsten mine. It is facing scrutiny after reports reveal that businesses connected to the U.S. President Donald Trump and the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, could benefit from the mining project. According to a New York Times report, businesses linked to the families of American President and the Commerce Secretary could benefit from this project, while the Trump administration considers potential federal financing. The report also adds that the agreement gives Washington access to one of the world's largest untapped tungsten deposits in Kazakhstan. Now, tungsten is considered a strategic mineral that is used in missile warheads, fighter aircraft, semiconductors, and other defense-related technologies, and that is why it becomes significant. Ahead of the agreement, the Trump administration approved preliminary applications for up to $1.6 billion in federal financing for this project. But the question is, how did the deal come together? Well, it was during a meeting at New York's St. Regis Hotel in September of 2025, when Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick sat down with Kazakhstan's President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. According to this report, Trump joined this discussion over phone and he personally helped persuade the Kazakh president to greenlight the mining project. Documents reviewed by the New York Times show that private investment activity closely tracked the government negotiations. In fact, just weeks after the St. Regis meeting, Dominari Securities, which is an investment firm based in the Trump Tower and partly owned by Trump's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump joined other investors in acquiring a 20% stake in a company which is related to the Kazakhstan project. The Kazakh deal was ultimately signed on the 6th of November last year. According to the report, businesses connected to either the Trump family or the Lutnick family have financial ties with at least 14 companies that are working on critical mineral projects that have received support from the federal government. Now, the report has also prompted sharp criticism from the Democrats. However, the White House and the U.S. Commerce Department have rejected suggestions that the government decisions had been influenced by family business interests. According to the New York Times, none of the proposed $1.6 billion in government support for the Kazakhstan mining project has been disbursed yet, as the financing remains subject to additional approvals. First, let's talk about Britain's new naval strategy. Britain is preparing for one of its biggest shifts in naval strategy in decades. It is replacing costly destroyers with hybrid combat ships, ships that are designed to command fleets of drones in the air, on the sea and underwater. The move reflects a growing global trend to adopt autonomous warfare even as budget pressures continue to plague UK's defence plans. Our next report tells you more.
The British government will order at least 6 new common combat vessels as part of Prime Minister Keir Starmer's defence investment plan. The British Navy's first hybrid warships will replace the aging Type 45 destroyers and are expected to enter service in the early 2030s. The British government says the ships will coordinate drones in the air, on the surface and beneath the sea, extending the Navy's reach, resilience and firepower without a matching rising crew size or operating costs. According to the British government, the vessels will operate alongside 8 Type 26 and 5 Type 31 frigates to counter Russian activity in the North Atlantic and the Arctic, protect critical underwater infrastructure and strengthen NATO's deterrence. The plan follows the British Navy's interception of a Russian Shadow Fleet oil tanker in the English Channel earlier this month. The defense blueprint also expands investment in autonomous military technology, including unmanned ground vehicles for frontline resupply and casualty evacuation. The plan comes amid increasing debate over UK's defence spending. Former UK Defence Secretary John Healey said the proposed funding increase fell short of military requirements before leaving office. His successor, Dan Jarvis, has backed the revised package. The development also comes at a time when reports early this month claimed Britain is scaling back plans to acquire nuclear-capable fighter jets, while all its Navy attack submarines are currently in port for maintenance or repairs amid budgetary constraints. UK Defence Secretary says the government remains on course to publish the defence investment plan before next month's NATO summit.
The Prime Minister has been very clear that we are going to publish the defence investment plan before the NATO summit in Ankara, and that's what I'm working to achieve.
Turkey's TCG Anadolu became the world's first operational drone carrier. Portugal is building Europe's first dedicated drone carrier, and China has already launched an autonomous seaborne drone carrier. The message is perhaps clear. The next generation of naval power will depend as much on autonomous systems as on traditional warships. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.